Okay, so we are going to be solving systems by graphing. The first thing we need to do is see if both equations are in slope-intercept form, meaning in the form y equals mx plus b, and they are. So that means we can go right ahead and graph them. My slope is the number in front of the x, and my y-intercept is the number being added or subtracted from that. So the first equation, my y-intercept is 7, and my slope is 2. So I start at my slope of 7, and I go up 2 over 1. Okay? My second equation has a y-intercept of 4 and the slope of negative 1. So I start at 4. Negative 1 for my slope means I go down 1 to the right 1. Press save and press enter. Now my solution is going to be at the point where they intersect. So make it large. We have negative 1, 5 as my solution. So in parentheses we put negative 1, comma 5. And that would be my answer for number 1. Number 2, we do the same thing. These are both solved for y in slope-intercept form, so we can graph them. For the first one, my y-intercept is negative 1. My slope is 2, so I go up 2 to the right 1. For my second equation, my y-intercept is 9. My slope is negative 3, so I go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. Press save. Check answer. My graph is correct. Now my intersection point or solution would be 2, 3. So in parentheses, I'm going to put parenthesis 2, comma 3. And that is my answer for number 2. Number 3, same thing. They are both in slope-intercept form, so I can graph them. For the first equation, if there is nothing being added to the term with the variable, like we have y equals 2x, it is understood that the y-intercept is 0. So then we go up 2 over 1 because my slope is 2. For my second equation, I start at the y-intercept, which is 8, and my slope is negative 2, so I go down 2 to the right 1. Press save, check answer, and that is correct. So my solution will be the point where they intersect, which looking at this graph will be 2, 4. So parenthesis 2, comma 4, parenthesis, that will be my answer. Number 4, same thing. They are both solved for y in slope-intercept form, so I can go ahead and graph it. First one has a slope of negative 1 and the y-intercept of negative 1. So I start at negative 1 and then I go down 1 to the right 1. My second equation has a slope of 1 and it has a y-intercept of 5. So then I go up 1 to the right 1 because it has a slope of 1. Then these will be my graphs. Check answer. Now I see where they intersect. To make it larger, I have a negative 3, 2 as my solution. So I have parenthesis, negative 3, 2, parenthesis, and check answer. Number 5, you see neither one of these are in slope-intercept form. We have to put it in slope-intercept form first. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have for the first equation, 3x minus y equals negative 9. So we first have to subtract 3x from both sides, which will leave us with negative y equals negative 3x minus 9. Now the y still isn't by itself, we have to divide everything by negative 1, which changes all the signs, which will leave us with y equals 3x plus 9. So that is my first equation I can graph, y equals 3x plus 9. So let's do that. So click to enlarge the graph. So I have my y-intercept of 9. Now I have a slope of 3. Notice it doesn't fit on my graph to go up 3 to the right 1. So I have to reverse it by going down 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. Click it and press save. Now let's take care of our second line. So we have now negative 3x minus y equals negative 3. So then I would add 3x to both sides, which will leave me with negative y equals 3x minus 3. divide every term by -1, changes all the signs, I'll have y equals -3x plus 3, which means I have a y-intercept of 3 and slope of -3. So graphing that, I have a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of -3. So I go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, click Save, check Answer. That is my graph. Now the solution is where they intersect, which is at -1, 6. So parentheses, -1, comma 6, parentheses. Check Answer. That will be number 5. Okay, number 6. We have the lines x equal 4 and y equals -1. Now when we have x equaling a constant or just a number, that is a vertical line. So you go to where x equals 4, which is on 4 on the x-axis, and that means every value of x is 4. So that will be my first line. Y equals -1 is a horizontal line going through -1 on the y-axis. So horizontal line, y equals -1. Here's my horizontal line. Click Save, check Answer. There is my graph. Now the solution is going to be where they intersect, which is at 4, comma, -1. So at 4, -1, they intersect. That is number 7. At a local fitness center, members pay a $14 membership fee and $3 for each aerobics class. Non-members pay $5 for each aerobics class. For what number of aerobics classes will the cost for members and non-members be the same? So we need to set up equations first to solve this. Okay, to set up our equations, we notice how we have two different fees, one for members and one for non-members. So let's write down members and non-members. Members have to pay a $14 fee plus $3 for each class. Let's make x equal the amount or number of aerobics classes. So we have $14 plus 3x for members because we have $14 and $3 for each class. Non-members have to just pay $5 per class. Now, we need to see when the cost will be the same for members and non-members for how many classes. So when we see keywords like the same, we set these equal to each other. So now we have 14 plus 3x equals 5x. So then we solve for x. Subtract 3x from both sides. We get 14 equals 2x. Then we divide both sides by 2. And then x equals 7. So for 7 classes, the cost will be the same for both. Okay, so I'll put in 7. Then that will be number 7. Alright, number 8 is asking you to solve the system by graphing, and you need to tell whether the system has one solution, infinitely many, or no solutions. Now, we see that these are both solved for y in slope-intercept form already, so all we got to do is graph it. So for the first equation, I have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 2. So start at 2 and then go up 1 over 1, rise over run. My second line, I have a y-intercept of -3, and then I go up 1 over 1 because it has a slope of 1. Now we see these are parallel lines, which means there is no solution because there is no intersection point. But we could have already identified that by realizing that since these two lines have the same slope, they are parallel. So there is no solution for number 8. Okay, number 9. It is asking us to solve the system by graphing and then tell whether the system has one solution, infinitely many, or no solutions. So both of these need to be rearranged to be in slope-intercept form because right now none of them are. So let's do that. So we have 2x plus y equals 4. So we need to subtract 2x from both sides to get y by itself. So then y equals -2x plus 4. Okay, solving the second equation, we have 2y equals 4 minus 4x. All we need to do is divide everything by 2. So dividing each thing by 2 gives us y equals 2 minus 2x. Okay, so now we have both of our equations. Right, so now we're going to go to our line. And the first equation ended up becoming y equals negative 2x plus 4. So it has a y-intercept of 4 and a slope of negative 2, so we go down to the right 1. My second line, I have 2 minus 2x. My slope is negative 2, and my y-intercept is 2, so I start at 2, and I go down to the right 1. Again, these have the same slope, so they're going to be parallel, which means there is no solution. Okay, parallel lines do not intersect. Number 10 is asking you to solve the system of equations by graphing. Looking at our equations, one of them is in slope-intercept form, the first one, but the second one isn't, so we have to put it there first. So let's do that. So we have 3x plus y equals negative 4. So to put that in slope-intercept form, we need to subtract 3x from both sides, and we'll have y equals negative 3x minus 4. Okay, now we can go ahead and graph both of them. So take 2 and enlarge the graph, take my line. My y-intercept of the first line is 8, and the slope is negative 3, so go down 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. Okay, the second one, we have y equals negative 3x minus 4. So our y-intercept is negative 4, and my slope is negative 3. So go down 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. We see that these are parallel lines, so that should tell you that there is no solution, because there is no intersection point in two parallel lines as a system. Okay, number 11. We are again solving these by graphing, and we are going to tell whether it has one solution, infinitely many, or no solutions. So both of these need to be put in slope-intercept form, so let's do that. So we have y minus 3x equals 4. We add 3x to both sides, and we have y equals 3x plus 4. The second equation, we have 4y equals 12x plus 16. We divide everything by 4 to solve for y, and we'll have y equals 3x plus 4. So now let's go ahead and graph it. So for the first equation, my y-intercept is 4, and my slope is 3. We have y equals 3x plus 4. So we go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Right, for my second line, I have a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 4. So I start at 4, and I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. We see it's the same line. That tells me I only graph one of these. Okay, only graph one of them when they're the same line. Which means there are infinitely many solutions for number 11. And if I go back here, you see both of these have the same equation. So they are coinciding lines. So is one line right on top of the other, giving you infinitely many solutions. And that is number 11.